Welcome back to the bettors on 30th of January, Saturday. We have an 8-game NBA slate. I'm putting up the odds screen right now and we will get right into it. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe. It helps a ton. If you want to reach out on Twitter, you can find me at the Barrel Zone. If you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/the Barrel Zone and join the Discord channel. I'm putting up all my plays and early analysis for all the NBA games every morning. It's good stuff. So we'll get right into it. First game on the board. The Chicago Bulls are hosting the Portland Blazers. Interesting game, interesting line. We have been fading the Blazers since McCollum and Nurkic went out. I think we have been betting against them in every game so far since that happened. I like the Bulls here again. So yeah, Portland will be without McCollum, Nurkic. Derrick Jones is also out now, so they are down 3 starters, and Covington is questionable, so they might potentially be down 4 starters here, which is pretty insane. Bulls are at home on 4 days of rest, which is super rare these days. I think that's a huge plus. Everyone will be in besides Wendell Carter Jr. Yeah, I like the Bulls here. Blazers, since McCollum and Nurkic are out, are scoring almost 2.5 less points per 100 possessions, giving up 1 more points on the defensive end, minus 4 point differential on average. On the Bulls defense, I have some notes. They have been allowing 6 less points per 100 possessions through the last 2 weeks than they did before. I was always bashing them that the offense looks great, but the defense looks terrible. But now they have improved significantly, and they play teams like the Celtics, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Mavs. So they didn't play an easy schedule through the last 2 weeks, and they have improved on the defense significantly. I'm really liking what they are doing. I'm liking them here. Blazers defense ranks 28th in points per possession allowed, 25th in effective field goal percentage allowed, 22nd in turnovers forced, 25th in free throw rate. I mean, they aren't good, and now the offense also struggling. They will be down 3 starters, maybe even 4. I think the market is overlooking the seriousness of these injuries. I've shown value betting against Portland every day so far when they were playing without these guys. I think they haven't covered the spread since that happened. So yeah, down 3-4 starters, Bulls on extra rest, defense improving against tough competition. I think Chicago is a fair side here. Market is kind of agreeing. In the last few hours, line did move out from 1.5 to 2, and Pinnacle is basically at 2.5 right now. I think this may stop around 2.5 to 3. I'm not sure. It can go. I mean, the Blazers are always getting some market support, so there will be some buyback coming at a point. But I'm not sure who is betting them. They don't have a bench. And missing this many key players, I think they are a team to fade. So next game, Charlotte Hornets at home hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Game is off the board as both teams are on a back-to-back, and we don't have injury reports for either. The Greek played 39 minutes last night, so yeah, this might be a game where he sits out. Holiday played 38, Middleton 36. They did lose straight up to the Pelicans. I was talking about the Pelicans last night. I was bashing them a bit, and now they step up. The Bucks have been out-rebounding the Pelicans, and they still lost. I was talking about the defense yesterday. So right now, the Milwaukee defense ranks 27th in the league through the last 2 weeks. They are allowing 117 points per 100 possessions. They have faced a pretty decent schedule. I'm not saying that they have faced bumps. So they played Lakers, Nets, Mavs, stuff like that. But I mean, the defense isn't good right now. This isn't a team to lay too many points with, especially on the road. I'm not really in love with this. Hornets are also on a back-to-back. Hayward played 38 minutes. The others played around 32-3. Yeah, I mean, the Hornets are ranked around the 20th in the league on both sides of the ball pretty consistently. They aren't a good team. Not one I really like to back, as they aren't really good in anything. Last night they had a 60% effective field goal percentage, which is you will win whenever that happens. It was partly the Pacers defense, but it was luck on a huge part, in my opinion. Bucks offense grading third best through the season. They are first in points per possession, super efficient. Yeah, my line is my Bucks -8 here. I think the 7.5s you can see on softbooks are a completely fair line. No lean here. I don't really like either side, to be honest. If I had to take a side, I would probably grab the points at home and pray that Giannis is sitting. Nice game. This is an interesting one. Pelicans Rockets. My line would be Pelicans -1, but they are on a back-to-back 13-4, etc. at home. Yeah, so I think a pick'em or Houston as a slight favorite makes sense. We see Houston -1 on the board on Pinnacle, but it's leaning towards pick'em. Interesting game, as both sides have huge edges here. Houston, since Oladipo joined them and since they got all the pieces together, are grading as the fourth best defense in the league. They are allowing really great numbers. I mean, they are killing the opposition. Sixth lowest points per possession, fourth lowest effective field goal percentage, forcing turnovers, etc. On the other side, Pelicans are grading as the fourth best offense through the last 2 weeks. Again, super. I mean, they have played some easy games, but stuff is working for them on the offensive end. But defensively, they are the 28th. Meanwhile, Houston is offensively the 26th. So Houston has a good defense, bad offense. Pelicans have a good offense and a bad defense. That's kind of the thing. My line is super close to the market. This will be a close game. I really wanted to bet the Rockets here. Pelicans played 36 minutes last night. This was a team that had a few injuries through the last 2 weeks, so we might see some guys sitting on the injury report. Maybe Ball, who had an issue these last couple of weeks. But yeah, overall, I'm not going to bet this. Houston is allowing the second highest offensive rebounding percentage. The rebounding edge to the Pelicans is huge. Pelicans are first in defensive rebounding, third in offensive rebounding in the league. Houston is 24th and 29th. Wood isn't good defensively. Not a lot of guys are grabbing rebounds on the team. And we've seen if the Pelicans are super dominant on the boards, then they will win the game. That's always been the case, and this is a really good matchup for them. On the other side, I'm starting to trust the Houston defense, but I need to see a bit more. So yeah, no bet from me. My lean would probably be the Pelicans because of the rebounding. But overall, the Rockets are a way better team, in my opinion, way better ceiling. They are rested. So yeah, I'm staying away. Next game is one where I have a strong lean. Miami Heat hosting the Sacramento Kings. Kings won't have Parker and Nemanja, but the Heat obviously ravaged by injuries. Dragic already out, Leonard and Harkless are both announced out, and then we have the usual group tagged as questionable: Butler, Bradley, Hero, Iguodala. The current line on softbooks is Miami -5. I can get to 5 if everyone is playing. So all of Butler, Bradley, Hero are in. Obviously, Dragic out is a huge hit to start with. But Butler played the last time 20 days ago, and he had an injury. He was quarantining now. I cannot trust him even if he's back. I think he plays like 20-25 minutes. Probably shot will be way off. He will be rusty. My lean have to be the Kings here, even if they are on the back-to-back. I think at 5, in the worst case, you are flipping a coin if everyone is in for Miami. But if they are out, this should be closer to a pick'em. Obviously, Butler, Bradley, Hero. This package is worth multiple points. So the Kings, I kind of like what they are doing now. They have been the worst team in the league for the first 3 weeks or so. Defensively, they made some adjustments. They are allowing about 4 points less per 100 possessions through the last 2 weeks, and the offense is grading as a sixth best in the league. They have decent rebounding numbers, pretty good offensive efficiency, and the defense is getting better despite facing a couple of tough teams. So yeah, overall, I'm starting to buy in. I think we always knew that the offensive ceiling is pretty high with the Kings. They have just so many talented scorers that it was an anomaly that they were like a bottom five offense to start the season. As for the Heat, they rank 28th offensively and 28th defensively through the season, minus 10 point differential, minus 7.5 against the spread. I mean, you can. I don't think you can back this team, and they are laying 5 points, which is totally insane. I need to see everyone coming back and looking healthy before I'm backing them. And I don't really care, to be honest, if Butler will play here or not. I don't think he will be a factor in his first game back after not training for 3 weeks. Yeah, so I think five Kings are a great look. I don't care if we have like closing line value or not. If everyone is in, this probably closes around 4.5, 5, maybe high 5.5. But I mean, the Kings cannot get this many points facing one of the worst offenses and one of the worst defenses in the league. They are looking a bit better, I think, right now. Celtics Lakers. This was the game I was totally waiting for. Obviously, Lakers injury report a joke as always. Anthony Davis questionable. LeBron James questionable. Davis might be a true questionable here as he missed the last game. I'm kind of leaning him towards playing. I mean, this is a huge game. They know it. They don't have a back-to-back. I think both guys will play. Boston is on an extra rest at home. Obviously, Tatum back, Kemba back. They don't really have any injuries right now. Things are looking up for the Celtics. But overall, I mean, I rate these two offenses pretty closely. But I mean, defensively, the Lakers are just way better. Through the season, they allow the lowest points per possession, fifth lowest effective field goal percentage, third lowest offensive rebounding, second lowest free throw rate. I mean, all across the board, just an elite defense. And I rate Boston's defense 15th in the league. Offensively, it is very close. I make this line Lakers -2. The line what's up on softbooks is Lakers -2, so I don't have an edge. But there are some trends with the Lakers I want to talk about that are a bit worrisome. So through the last 2 weeks, their offense is rated as the 19th best offense in the league. 5 out of the 6 last games, they had an effective field goal percentage below league average. And they allowed 27% plus offensive rebounding 3 straight games. So yeah, they are allowing way better rebounding than they did before, and the offense isn't efficient and they aren't scoring as they used to. And the schedule they faced wasn't that difficult. So yeah, Lakers are kind of slumping through the last few weeks. The rebounding is the thing that worries me the most. I think the shots will start to fall. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I would probably lean towards Boston, especially knowing that AD might sit. If he's out and you can catch a Boston +2, I think at home that's a great bet. But yeah, I wouldn't bet this game, to be honest. I think the Celtics will need a few games to get the chemistry going. Get everyone to 100%. Lakers' recent trends, not very good. Obviously, they are prized as the best team in the league, laying points on the road to the Celtics. AD questionable. So yeah, I think this is a great game to watch, not necessarily one to bet. But the next game will be good to bet. Dallas Mavericks hosting the Phoenix Suns. I really like the Mavs here. I was talking about them getting guys back from the COVID list. They have been back for I think 2 or 3 games, but they faced Denver and the Jazz twice. I mean, that's a murderer's row. The stats for the Mavs through the last 2 weeks have been so bad that they are ranking as one of the worst teams in the league. I went into and checked the schedule difficulty for Dallas, and it's by far the most difficult schedule in the whole league. Through the last 2 weeks, they have faced the Jazz twice, the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Rockets, the Pacers, the Bucks, the Raptors. I mean, they all had and they had multiple back-to-backs road games, so it's an unfair schedule, and they've been without Porzingis for a part of this, but he wasn't at 100% when he came back, and they were without three starters and the primary backup through the whole stretch. I mean, I'm throwing this out the window. I really like overall what they have been doing, even through this stretch. I mean, they had played some decent defense, and yeah, I think it's time to back them now. They got blown out in the first quarter last night. They've been down by 25, so everyone played 25 minutes or less. So this is a back-to-back for them with travel, but they barely played last night. Everyone is in. Even the newest returning guys got already 2 games under their belt. And I mean, this is a way easier matchup for like Porzingis, who has been facing the Utah and the Denver front court, and then before that, Aldridge, and he had to stop Wood against the Rockets. I mean, yeah, it's this is a way easier matchup, and obviously, Phoenix already put out the injury report. Booker is out, Saric is out, Payne is out. Obviously, Booker the best player, and I would argue that these are maybe their two better players from the bench, so we have to downgrade them for that. Also, one more thing, I went into the matchup when it comes to the shot selection, and Phoenix is shooting tons of threes and mid-range jumpers way above the league average when it comes to frequency, and Dallas is allowing the third lowest three-pointer percentage and the sixth lowest field goal percentage on mid-range jumpers. So when you check this shot selection, this sets up well for Dallas. They are relatively rested, fully healthy. Returning guys get a couple of games in. Without Booker and a few backups, I cannot really back Phoenix, and I think this is a huge buy low on the Mavs team. I mean, they got embarrassed by Utah and Denver, but this is not a team like that. Not like an extremely physical team who will kill you. I think Aiton is by far the weakest link in the chain here. I think Porzingis will be able to put up points. And yeah, I overall I think if you can grab a 2.5, my line I think is 2.5. Yes, it is 2.5. But I'm willing to pay a fair market price here. I don't want closing line value. I'm willing to pay the fair price for the Mavs. I think they are a bit better than how the market rates them right now. Yeah, one thing to note: I didn't bet this game yet. Wait for the injury report. Obviously, Mavs could some players could sit. As I said, this is the first back-to-back for many guys after being out for like 2 weeks. But unless anyone sits, I think 2.5 is fair. If someone sits and the line moves towards the pick'em, maybe if like Richardson or Dorian Finney-Smith sit, who aren't like a huge core of the team right now, as they missed like half of the season, I think that's still a good deal with the home team. All right, next to last game. This is one where I have an edge, but I don't really want to play it. Golden State Warriors hosting the Detroit Pistons. Line on the market is 5.5. Warriors laying almost 6 points right now. I make this 4.5 to 5. But I don't really want to bet the Pistons, despite I think this is a decent matchup for them. So Pistons have been kind of overperforming. Coming into the season, they have been graded as one of the worst teams, but through the last 2 weeks, they grade 11th offensively and 14th defensively. They are outperforming closing spreads by plus 6 points on average, which is insane. Golden State around 20th on both sides of the ball. I mean, the defense is decent. They are allowing low effective field goal percentage, pretty decent turnover rate. I think the defense is good, but I mean, offensively, they are terrible. Besides Curry, everyone is super inefficient. Rebounding. Golden State ranks 27th in defensive rebounding and 26th in offensive rebounding, while Detroit is top 5 to top 10 on both sides. Detroit also forces the most free throws in the league. That's not really a good matchup for the Golden State either. So I think the Pistons have a decent sized rebounding edge here. And if they are able to force free throws, this should be close. I still kind of trust the Golden State defense, the offense not so much. But we had early Golden State money coming in, and it was pretty one-sided. I don't really like to fade strong early line moves. Yeah, so if this gets to 6.5, I would probably be forced to bet the Pistons. At 6, I think there is value. One thing I don't like, they have only one win on the road. ATS record is a bit better, but they have 1-7 on the road. They might, we will see through the season. This might be just early season variance, but they might travel like inefficiently, or might be some mental thing. So I'm not really keen to get on the Pistons, but I think there is a number edge on there. With the huge rebounding edge and the way they like to work, I think Golden State will give them the opportunities. Could be a lower scoring game. I think the Pistons are the right side. Haven't bet it yet. 6.5 probably would be my entry point. Final game of the day, and this is not a good one. I will be pretty quick on this. San Antonio Spurs hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are returning from an 11-day COVID break. It has been mostly staff members who have been going to the COVID protocol, so it wasn't players. Only Valanciunas and Grayson Allen are the guys who are in the protocol. 1.5 point downgrade maybe to Memphis. Depending on the matchup, JV will be a guy who will be missed in this physical matchup. I really like the Spurs Memphis games. These are always pretty good old-fashioned basketball. So yeah, Spurs, they are ranking 8th offensively, 9th defensively through the last 2 weeks. They are coming off straight up wins over the Celtics and the Nuggets. I have been bashing them that they are like league average, slightly worse. I think they might be league average-ish. Their schedule has been overall balanced, so they had a few easier games. I think the numbers they've put up are a bit, they look better than the team really is, if that makes any sense. But they are still a decent team, and this Memphis team is returning from a long layoff. I basically threw out the Memphis ratings through the season, as they have been out for weeks and they didn't have Morant for like more than half of their games. I really cannot handicap this game efficiently because of these things. The long layoff. Morant has just came back, and then they were down for almost 2 weeks. Spurs have been really strong recently, but overall the schedule wasn't that difficult for them, so they might look better than they are. So I arrived to my number being around Spurs minus 3.5 to 4. And I think the market number is minus 4.5. I'm okay with that. It's a fully healthy team at home, and they are welcoming a team back from like a huge layoff. We've seen these layoffs hurt teams extremely bad. Like, look at the Suns after they returned from the COVID break. They are scoring like 5 or 6 points less per 100 possessions. Guys aren't hitting the shots they used to hit before. I think this could happen. If I had to take a side, I would go with the Spurs, but no bet from me. So, wrapping it up, I really like the Chicago Bulls. I think 2 is a fair number, but I'm willing to pay that. I like the Kings on the road getting points. Miami not healthy. They aren't good. The Kings defense is starting to put it together. Offense has been improving their rating as a top 10 offense consistently right now. I like the Mavericks at home, only laying 2.5. Look at the injury report, but we know that Suns won't have Booker. Couple of backups. Mavs relatively rested. They faced a super tough recent schedule. This might be a buy low. Suns are still not finding their rhythm after the COVID break. And yeah, I like the Pistons a bit, but didn't bet it. I think 6.5 would be my entry point. 6, maybe some value. And if you want to like roll a dice with the Spurs, I don't mind that. They are fully healthy at home. No back-to-backs in sight. They have beaten just beaten the Celtics and the Nuggets, and they are only laying 4.5 against a team that has been off for 2 weeks. will miss Valanciunas. I might bet the Spurs in the end. I'm talking myself into it. All right, this is it for today. I will be back tomorrow. We have a couple of amazing games. I'm waiting for the Jazz to play the Nuggets, and it's an early game. So yeah, we will have to get our bets in early for that. Sixers play the Pacers, Clippers, Knicks. Couple of nice matchups for tomorrow. Only 6 games, but I'm looking forward to that. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. Thanks for tuning in. If you wanna grab my plays, you can go to patreon.com/thebettors. Please follow on Twitter, like the video, the podcast, subscribe. It helps a ton. And see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining.